Vermicomposting is a type of compost making in which earthworms are used to convert organic wastes into valuable material to supply nutrients for crops. Degradation of organic waste using earthworms is one of the recent developments in biological sciences. Earthworms break down complex organic residues into simpler water-soluble substances. In the biodegradation process, earthworms and microbes work together and produce vermicompost. The main objective is to study the making vermicompost and methods for mulberry crop. Earthworms help convert organic waste into valuable nutrients for crops through a process we call vermicomposting. Through the simple act of eating, earthworms promote bacterial growth, enhance soil structure, and hasten the decomposition of organic matter. However, due to different feeding habits, not all earthworms are suitable for vermiculture. Earthworms are divided into two groups, humus formers and humus feeders. The first group dwell on the surface and feed on nearly 90% fresh organic materials and 10% soil. They are generally red in color, have a flat tail and are also called epigic or detritivorous worms. It is these worms that are harnessed for vermicomposting. The second group, the humus feeders, are deep burrowing worms that are useful in making the soil porous and mixing and distributing humus through the soil. Uses of vermicompost. A healthier crop produces a better yield and will increase a farmer's net profit. Promotes faster growth of plants, increases crop yield, produces crops with a better taste, luster and lasting quality without toxic residues. Crops can therefore fetch a higher price in the market. Increases water holding capacity of soil, easy to produce and low in cost, reduces soilization and acidification, reduces soil erosion, induces resistance to pest and disease attack. Other benefits for farmers: enhances soil productivity, increases crop yield with less irrigation, lowers risk of crop loss due to pest attack, etc. The various species of earthworms have different environmental requirements which are necessary for their propagation and continued health. These requirements will inevitably dictate whether one particular family of worms will be suitable for culture in any given circumstance. During the heat of the day, this large number of the earthworm family retreats to the depths of its burrow, venturing out only in the late evening or early morning, the coolest available times. On the other hand, the two most commonly used worms for vermicomposting, Eisenia foetida and Lubricus rubellus, are the most popular precisely because of the ease in replicating the environmental conditions they prefer. Aeration. The microbes need air to live and to do their work to make compost. Compost piles should allow plenty of air into them. This is usually accomplished by using some kind of bulky ingredients such as straw, old weeds without seeds, etc. Moisture content. The bin contents should be kept moist but not soaked. Do not allow rainfall to run off roof into the bin. This could cause the worms to drown. A straw covering may be needed in exposed site to keep the bin from drying during hot summer weather. Under natural conditions, the greatest abundance of earthworms will be located in soils which average between 12% and 30% moisture content. Temperature. Temperature requirement for optimal result is 20 to 30 degrees centigrade. However, survival of earthworms is even at lower temperatures and up to 48 degrees centigrade air temperature. Obviously, with little provision of shade, temperature within worm feed substrate can be reduced. Bedding materials. Bedding for bins can be made from shredded newspapers, computer paper or cardboard, shredded leaves, straw, hay or dead plants, sawdust, peat moss or compost or aged manure. Peat moss should be soaked for 24 hours in water, then lightly wrung out to ensure it is sufficiently moist. The bedding material should be thoroughly moistened before adding the worms. Fill the bin 3/4 full of moist bedding, lifting it gently afterwards to create air space for the worms to breathe and to control odors. Container. The shape and size of the vermicomposting container depend on the requirement, that is quantity of waste to be composted and number of live earthworms we want to culture. On an average 2000 adult earthworms can be maintained in containers of 1 square meter dimension. Food for worms. Under optimum conditions, earthworms can eat their own weight in food scraps and bedding in 1 day. On the average, however, it takes approximately 2 pounds of earthworms to recycle a pound of food waste in 24 hours. The same quantity of worms requires about 4 cubic feet of bin to process the food waste and bedding. Adding food waste. Earthworms eat all kinds of food and yard wastes, including coffee grounds, tea bags, vegetables and fruit waste, pulverized eggshells, grass clippings, manure and sewage sludge. Avoid bones, dairy products and meats that may attract pests, and garlic, onions and spicy foods. Limited amounts of citrus can be added, but too much can make the compost too acidic. The compost should be kept at pH of 6.5 if possible, with upper and lower limits at 7 and 6 pH respectively. Overly acidic compost can be corrected by adding crushed eggshells. Avoid adding chemicals including insecticides, metals, plastics, glass, soaps, pet manures and oleanders or other poisonous plants or plants sprayed with insecticides to the worm bin. In broad terms, there are two major kinds of food that composting microbes need. Browns. Browns are dry and dead plant materials such as straw, dry brown weeds, autumn leaves and wood chips or sawdust. These materials are mostly made of chemicals that are just long chains of sugar molecules linked together. As such, these items are a source of energy for the compost microbes because they tend to be dry. Browns often need to be moistened before they are put into a compost system. Greens. Greens are fresh and often green plant materials such as green weeds from the garden, kitchen fruit and vegetable scraps, green leaves, coffee grounds and tea bags, fresh horse manure, etc. Compared to browns, greens have more nitrogen in them. Nitrogen is a critical element in amino acids and proteins and can be thought of as a protein source for the billions of multiplying microbes. A good mix of browns and greens is the best nutritional balance for the microbes. Particle size. The smaller the size of organic wastes, the faster the compost will be ready for use. Smaller particles have much more surface area that can be attacked by microbes. Fertilizer and lime. Microbial activity is affected by the carbon to nitrogen ratio of the organic waste because microbes require a certain amount of nitrogen for their own metabolism and growth. A shortage of nitrogen will slow down the composting process considerably. Nutrients such as phosphorus and potassium are usually present in adequate amounts of decomposition. pH. During the initial states of decomposition, organic acids are produced, decreasing the pH. In the past, small amounts of lime have been suggested for maintaining and enhancing microbial activity at this time. Animal dung. Cattle dung, sheep dung, horse dung, goat dung and poultry dropping etc. may be used for this purpose. In use of animal dung other than cattle dung, various preliminary testing and precautions for pathogens and responses to earthworms are necessary. The uses of horse dung should be done carefully because tetanus virus is common in horse dung and is lethal to human beings. Agricultural waste. Agricultural waste obtained after harvesting and threshing may be used. They include stem, leaves, husk, peels, vegetable waste, orchid leaf litter, pressed food, wastes, sugarcane trash and baggage and processing waste. Forestry wastes. These are plant products such as wood shavings, peels, sawdust and pulp. All these besides various types of forest litter can be used. City leaf litter. The burnt leaf litter from avenue or residential areas may be used. However, reports are not available. If it is used, this would keep cities clean and would provide useful product. City refuse. City refuse or garbage on daily production basis comprise important items of city factors and a considerable portion of the city refuse can be sorted and recycled or composted. Most of household as kitchen waste with little manipulation can be used for vermicompost. Biogas slurry. After recovery of biogas, if not required for agricultural use, in conventional composting can be used for vermicomposting. Industrial wastes. The industrial wastes like waste from food processing, distillery, etc. can also be used in vermiculture with some manipulations. Method to make vermicompost. Step 1. Cover the bottom of the cement ring with a polyethylene sheet. Step 2. Spread a layer 15 to 20 centimeters of organic waste on top of the sheet. Step 3. Sprinkle rock phosphate on top of the organic material. Step 4. Prepare cow dung slurry 15 kg and add the slurry as a layer on the top of the mixture. Step 5. Fill the ring completely and evenly with the layered material. Step 6. Paste cow dung or soil over the top of the material. Step 7. Allow the material to decompose for 20 days. After 20 days, put the earthworms on top. They will find the cracks and enter the material. Step 8. Cover the ring with wire mesh or gunny bags to prevent birds from eating the worms. Step 9. Sprinkle water over the whole mixture at 3-day intervals for 2 months to maintain adequate moisture and body temperature of the worms. Note: when the compost is ready, it is black, quite lightweight and has a pleasant earthy smell. Step 10. After 2 months or when the compost is ready, remove the ring and heap the material in a cone shape on the floor. Leave the heap undisturbed for 2 to 3 hours to let the worms move slowly to the bottom. Step 11. Separate the upper portion of the heap. Step 12. Sieve the lower portion of the heap to separate the worms. They can be used again for preparation of more vermicompost. Step 13. Pack the compost in bags and store them in a cool place. Technique: pit method. In the initial stage, a bed of size of 10 into 1 into 0.3 meter. The bed should be treated with chloropyrifos at 2 ml per liter of water to prevent and terminate problem. After 15 days, fill the beds in layers with organic residues as explained. First layer, decomposable plant material. Second layer, cow dung, farm manure, biogas sludge. Third layer, spread earthworms 1000 to 2000 in number. Fourth layer, cow dung, farm manure, biogas sludge. Fifth layer, dry crop residue, green succulent leafy material plus cow dung. Sixth layer, thick layer of the mulch with cereal straw. Each layer except the third should be 3 to 4 inch thick, so that bed material is raised above the ground level. Sufficient dry and green waste should be used. The mulch at the top prevents loss of moisture and acts as a barrier to predators like birds. Heap method. In this method, composting is done on the ground without the pits. Organic material is piled up on the ground as in the pit method. The only difference is that the heap gets a dun shape. The suitable size for a heap is 10 into 1 into 0.6 meter. Wooden box or brick column. Here, rectangular wooden or brick structures 3 into 1 into 1 meter are erected above the ground level, and the organic material is dumped inside serially as in earlier methods. These beds have to be watered regularly to maintain a moisture level of 60 to 80% till the harvest of compost. Harvesting the compost and worms. There are 3 basic ways to separate the worms from the finished compost. One way involves moving the finished compost and worms over to one side of the bin and adding new bedding material and food waste to the other side. Worms in the finished compost should move over to the few bedding with the fresh food waste. The finished compost can then be removed. A second way to remove the worms is to build up a small harvester frame of 2 to 4 s with a 3 by 16 inch mesh bottom. Place the worm compost on the frame and shift the worms out. Larger pieces of compost can be returned to a new batch of bedding and worms. In third way, the compost also be placed in small piles on a trap in the sun or under bright light inside, because worms don't like light. They will wriggle to the bottoms of the piles. After waiting 10 minutes, remove the upper inch or more of the finished compost from each pill until you run into worms. Allow the worms to again wiggle to the bottom of the pill and repeat the process. Combine what's left of the small pills into one big pill and again repeat the process. A thatched shed in an area of approximately 7.5 into 6 meter is constructed on a slight elevated ground for a mulberry farm of 1 hectare area. Stone bunds are constructed all around the shed to prevent predators. 8 trenches, each measuring 2.4 into 0.6 into 0.45 meter, are prepared, parallel to each other in 2 rows with 4 each. The shed is lined with polyethylene sheet or stone at the bottom and side walls on the inner side to avoid migration of earthworms. The depth of the trench should not be more than 0.45 meters. As a feed for the earthworms, the sericulture waste including weeds are mixed with cow dung, slurry and mixed with 100 liters of water for every ton of waste. It is left in an open pit for about 7 to 10 days for partial decomposition. While decomposing, the material should contain a minimum of 30 to 40% moisture. During the decomposition process, the temperature of the semi-decomposing material will rise to 50 to 60 degrees centigrade. Hence, the material is turned upside down once or twice to bring the temperature to normal state. Later, each trench is filled up with 200 to 300 kg if semi-decomposed sericulture waste having moisture content of 30 to 40%. A mixture culture of earthworms like Eudrilus eugeniae, Eisenia fotida and Perionix excavatus in juvenile stage is introduced in the feed at 1.5 kg per metric tons of waste in each trench and left aside for 6 to 7 weeks. While releasing earthworms, care is taken to ensure approximately 30 to 40% moisture and normal temperature in the feed. During feed preparation, temperature of the decomposing waste increase beyond 50 degrees centigrade, which may kill the worms, and hence it is essential to bring down the normal temperature. After 2 to 3 days of release of earthworms, water is sprinkled regularly to keep the feed moist. A protective cover of coconuts, fronds or any green leaves is provided to avoid evaporations. Once a week, the materials is turned upside down for proper composting. After 6 to 7 weeks time, if most of feed is found as loose granular casts, brown to black in color, the material can be harvested and sieved through wire mesh to separate earthworms and cocoons for reuse. After sieving, brown to black loose granules of vermicomposting can be collected and used as manures. While harvesting, moisture is evaporated for better result. Maximum quantity of vermicomposting can be harvested if the material is allowed to dry for some time inside the shed. It is necessary to keep the shed dark, moist and cool while vermicompost is under progress to get best result, as earthworms do not prefer light. The final product vermicompost should be used for crop production without much delay to get best results. Advantages: it is an eco-friendly technology. The composting of the waste can be performed quickly. Vermicompost supplies a suitable mineral balance, improves nutrient availability and could act as complex fertilizer granules. Vermicomposting involves great reduction in populations of pathogenic microorganisms, thus not differing from composting from this point of view. It should be realized that vermicomposting can be useful in cottage industry for the underprivileged and the economically weak, as it can provide them with a supplementary income. The process can be carried out in a dispersed manner in small or large quantities, that is 5 ton per day projects down to less than 1 kg. The most beneficial aspects of vermiculture is its ability to reduce the strain on waste management systems and landfills. Vermiculture takes a source of problems and pollution, wet waste, and turns it into an amazing agricultural resource, vermicompost.